Hello and welcome to So Good We Named It, the first Golden Girls and Golden Palace podcast, and the first, to my knowledge, Golden Girls or Golden Palace podcast with black hosts, straight from Goldencon. And yeah, we're going to keep saying that for like the next year. I'm Barrett,
And I'm Kay.
and we have a very special image consultant with us today.
Yes, I believe it was Raul who said, "It's a pleasure to be here."
Thank you, and it's a pleasure to have you. Um, we were just all chatting it up before the show. Catch So Good We Named It After Dark.
Right.
That's going to be a different show. But we were talking about
Okay.
how we
Can we
like
do
to.
that for real?
I
Can that be
mean,
a thing?
we can do whatever we want.
I
Um,
want to do that like a special edition so good we named it After Dark for real. And like full disclaimers, disclosures, and all that.
The Rusty Anchor edition.
and we should make people
Yes.
pay for it. But
Come on. Yeah.
we were
Okay,
talking about how we
continue.
like to get high and order stuff that we forgot we ordered. My Ninja Foodie is ready to be picked up. I don't remember ordering that, but that's okay.
I ordered a leaf blower because I ordered a leaf
And she
blower.
has
I
no
also
trees.
ordered I have leaves to blow the leaves out of my yard, so it'll be nice and pretty for summer.
Hmm,
And then I bought some furniture, some patio furniture for like $200 on Walmart. Like,
sounds pricey. But
yeah.
Michael said he can relate. What did you purchase, Michael?
Yeah, so I bought a vinyl record player and I
Oh,
bought some records, which I absolutely don't need. But when you're under the influence, hopped up on what is it, a pain medication?
yeah, blood pressure whacked out.
Blood. That's what it was. Blood.
It seemed totally necessary at the time.
It does. Like your life depends on it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then that happens to me with food too. Like
Yeah.
before, if I'm not high and I'm ordering Uber Eats and it's like $25, I'm like, I'm not spending $25 on that. But if I'm high, I'm like, wow, it's only $25. Let's get it.
Oh no. See, I get my
Let me
food
spend
ready
another
ahead of time.
25. That's how that
Right.
usually.
Let me
Mhm.
get extra everything, please.
I mean, I did have my plastic owls show up yesterday, but that was a necessity
Oh,
um,
okay.
to scare the squirrels. But I
Hmm.
digress. Today is Mother's Day, and we're going to review an episode. We haven't done that in a long time. We've been so
Is today
busy.
Mother's Day or is that when you're posting it?
Well, as far as they know, it's Mother's Day.
Today is
You're
Mother's Day.
ruining the behind
Exactly.
the scenes magic.
Sorry,
Okay.
sorry. Today is Mother's Day.
And we are actually going to review an episode again for the first time in like 10 episodes. But it is season 3, episode 25, original air date, May 7th. See, they were a day early. So unprofessional. Got to do it the day of.
Oh my
1988.
God.
I wasn't even born yet. Wow, I
Me
was not
either.
even born.
Wasn't even thought of.
Same.
A twinkle in my parents' eye. But this was suggested by Michael, who's been following us for a while. I don't know if you actually listened to the show, because a lot of people want to be on it and they've never heard it. Have you listened to
Oh,
it?
absolutely. I've listened to
Okay.
the show.
Well, thank you. It's good to know I have a friend like you who cares, unlike some other people. Um,
Wow.
yeah.
Just drag our fans.
Yeah. They ain't going to hear it because they haven't listened to the show. So it's fine. But Michael, if you want to get us started, we on the show. I have my notes. I'm sure you have your notes.
Absolutely. So I guess maybe I should first preface by saying I love the girls, but I do believe that they are horrible mothers. Um,
Dragged.
and throughout the show, maybe it's just me, I've always been confused about children and how many they have. So I took a little bit of some notes about who has what children. So Lousy five, she has Charlie Jr., Adam, Ganella, Kristen, and Bridget. Sophia has three, Dorothy, with the possibility of Philomena, Phil, and Gloria. And I had no idea that Blanche has six. She's Matthew, Janet, Biff, not the same Biff. I want you to take me, Biff, but a different one. Doug, Skippy, and Rebecca. And of course, Dorothy has Kate and Michael. Um, and I think one of the things that I love now, I grew up watching the Golden Girls, but I love the inconsistency in the plot holes, especially as it relates to Dorothy's children and their age. So I remember I thought that Michael was the oldest, but it turns out it was Kate. And so I remember watching, I think it was like the second episode of the first season, and Kate is getting married, and she's like in her 20s and 30s. But I'm like, if Dorothy was pregnant when she was in high school, then Kate should be like in her 40s. But anyway,
Excuse me,
my
COVID
my
cough. But please
Barry,
continue.
please stop coughing. Mute yourself if you got
I
a
don't know how
cough.
to do all of that without messing
Oh my
stuff up.
God.
That is so funny. Oh my goodness. But I love when Phil, also known as the Duke of Windsor, he
Hmm.
calls, and also too, I think that he's a terrible kind of son as well. He has like 10 children. They live in a trailer park, and the only time he calls and he doesn't ask for money is on Mother's Day, and I'm just like, wow, that's pretty low down. Um, but I think the funny thing was when they get to Dorothy's scene and she's telling the story about when they had to go visit Stan's mom, and she has all these pictures of him up there, none of Ted, but it's just
I pointed
completely
that
all
out
of
too
them.
in my notes. Like, what about Ted?
Clearly, she did the doctor, mind you. Like he isn't he like a doctor or
Yeah,
something?
and he's letting his mother live in a trailer park, which to those of our listeners that are in trailer parks, they may be very fabulous, but this one was not.
It was not. It was definitely not. And I
Okay,
love
because I was gonna say they got some real nice double wide trailer homes that I was looking to purchase because they were beautiful,
Yeah,
actually.
but
But
this one, mm-mm.
this one was not. It was one of those stereotypical ones, just for
Yeah, and
clarification.
I feel like Phil's is also not that nice, probably. I mean, he married a welder,
right.
but I also to go back a little bit on the kids. It's interesting that Blanche has the most kids when she's the worst mother, but maybe she fucked the most. I don't know. Um, but she's always harping on Janet and how Janet doesn't like her and blah 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 for years and years. And it's kind of sad how thirsty she is, for Janet's attention. But when we finally meet Janet in like the second, I think it's the fourth to last episode or whatever, the Home Again Rose, they're fine. They have no friction at all, which is the one time anybody from their families has visited and there's no friction. And she's the one that we built up the most. Even Sophia says, "Isn't that the daughter that hates you?" So way to fizzle that out.
Yeah, I wonder if they paid this. I'm sure they didn't, obviously, because they don't pay attention or make things not symmetrical. What's the linear version of symmetrical?
um, Timeline,
The timelines
canon,
be messed up basically.
yeah.
But remember, Mark said that they didn't care.
Well, in his words, I didn't give a shit. But Sophia
Yeah,
said it in that episode when Janet visits. She says, "Isn't that the daughter that hates you?" And then it's
yeah.
never addressed. But I guess he didn't give a shit about that either. So
I guess that was them addressing it because
yeah,
people was gonna be like, "Isn't that exactly what Sophia said?" And I guess that was it them addressing it
into
because
the
he didn't
golden
give a shit
verse.
to,
I guess this is an alternate
continue
reality.
writing into it.
Um, but I also question Rose talking about Charlie Jr. Now, we ain't never heard shit about Charlie Jr. before, and
Never.
we never hear shit about him again. Because initially I thought maybe she's talking about her granddaughter. So then when she
Mm-hmm.
says he, so how many Charlies are there? There's Charlie, her husband, Charlie, her granddaughter, Charlie, her son. That's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fucking Charlies. Just saying. But can you imagine having to sit and wait all day for a phone call, especially from multiple people? I guess we're just spoiled with technology because who the hell has time for that? I would have said leave me a message, which they don't have an answering machine. Never noticed
They
that.
do not. Mm-hmm.
They could have got a lot of comedy out of that. Um, what else did I want to mention from that first scene? Oh, Sophia says all my children called me except Phil. Okay, and Dorothy lives with you, so basically just Gloria. Okay, that was a weird way to put that. But with the children, one other thing. So Blanche got 5 phone calls that day. Like they just are camped out all day waiting for all of these fucking kids. And heaven forbid somebody called at the same time. I don't know if there was call waiting back then.
If
Um,
I don't think
Well,
they had
Dorothy had
call
to get a
waiting.
refund on that.
True.
Hmm.
So, um, that just sounds really annoying. I couldn't imagine. And then when Phil does call, I mean, I guess back then you long distance was a thing too. 10 10 220 or whatever the hell it was. So he couldn't even talk to her because he had to pretend it was
Hmm.
I guess what do they call it? Is it person to person? I don't even know what it's called where they have to put you through like that, like he's in prison or something. Just depressing. And then she was satisfied with that. That was enough for her, which
Mm-hmm.
again shows he was the worst. God. I mean, I'm fine. I'm fine. Go on.
Don't start that.
No, no, it's fine. Go ahead. I'll just die in the
Okay.
middle of the show. Go ahead.
Oh.
So then I love when, again, when they were talking about Ted and they take, oh, Stan, I should say. And they take all the pictures down, and Dorothy calls Stan's mom Mother's Vornak, which is really funny because she hated when Dennis called her Mother Dorothy. She said that she felt like she should be handing out rice on the streets of Calcutta.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't apply to her. She's a do as I say, not as I do kind of gal. But again, why is she in a trailer park if she's got $1,000 just ready to go in her knee highs? Unless she's just saving her money up. I don't know.
I wrote that in my notes too. Like she has like I think a little bit over $1,000 because she had some still in her stocking, and she just like here take 1,000. And it's just like
She got it
what?
like that. And Alice Ghostley plays Stan's mother, the iconic Alice Ghostley from Bewitched and Designing Women.
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved to see more of her, and I would have loved to
Mm-hmm.
see her not either. If she was going to play that role, I would have wanted to see it more, but I really would have liked to see her play her age because she really, could have interacted with all of them because she's around their age,
Mm-hmm.
was in real
Mm-hmm.
life. And I'm curious, did she live in Florida? And she just died before the show started, or was this when they were
That's a
still in New
great point.
York? Um, because they never age, the girls are show them in any different hairstyle or outfit.
Right,
When they do so-called flashbacks, they look exactly
right.
the same, which I hate.
I
But
hate it in a passion.
Mark Cherry, who joined the show later as a writer, later on created Desperate Housewives. And I've always appreciated that when they did flashbacks, they actually made them look like they looked in that time period.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you to
Mm.
Mark Cherry. Feel free to come on the show. Missed you at Goldencon. Um, but what else did I put for Stan's mom? So she pretended to hate Dorothy for over 30 years. That's quite an
That's a
act.
long time.
Right.
Seems a little excessive. Although the woman ate mice, so, which was such an odd thing to say. But maybe she did. I don't know. I would have liked to see the battling grandmothers, but, much too good for us. But I don't know if anybody else had any more notes on her. That was kind of all I had. It was a pretty short scene.
the, the
Yeah.
the artwork of Adolf Hitler. Like, first of all, what store carries that?
That's problematic, to say the least. Um,
And then and then they thought enough of her like to actually get it for her. That
I mean, she said, we thought of you when we saw it. So is she anti-Semitic? Like, I don't know where they were going with that. But problematic nonetheless. Um, I will say that the segues into these stories were terrible. Usually they would
mm-hmm,
try a
mm-hmm,
little harder when they do the flashbacks, which they love a good flashback, whether it's a real one or not.
mm-hmm.
But it's like, oh, speaking of orange juice, I remember the last time I saw my mother before she died on Mother's Day. Like, geez Louise, like you can work it in a little better. And again, Blanche looks the same. Um, and they all wore Dorothy's boots this episode, I guess. Her and Rose had on some winter boots for like the only time ever. Of course, theirs had a little heel on it. And they reused one of their favorite sets as the convalescent home, which is, who says
Mm-hmm.
convalescent home? What does that even mean? I'm going to look that up. I don't know if that's in Matt Browning's book.
It's like an old folks home.
Well, I know that's what it stands for, but like, what is the specific, I guess, definition or terminology of that phrasing versus old folks' home?
Let's
What
Google it.
is a convalescent home?
I Googled it first.
It's supposed to say it out loud. Now, when I wanted to say it out loud, it won't. A nursing home.
Inpatient
Okay.
rehabilitation facility.
Do they still say that though? I feel like convalescent is outdated.
A convalescent home can also be called an inpatient rehabilitation facility.
So I guess she must have had a stroke or something like that. Why is her
Yeah.
mother 89
Mm,
years old? And this clearly was before 1985 when the show started because her mother was already dead. So let's say it's 83, 84. Why is her mother that old? Like, she shouldn't have been that old because Big Daddy wasn't that old. And she would have had to have Blanche very late, which is not impossible. I mean, my mother, uh, her mother had her at 39, and that was in the 50s. So it's possible, but Blanche was born in the 30s, so it was less likely. But I guess we'll just go with it. Maybe Big Daddy, but Big
mm.
Daddy was with an older woman. Um, and where was he at Mother's Day? Where was Clayton? Where was Charmaine? Where was Tad? For those of you that watch Golden Palace. nobody came but Blanche. And why is she in Virginia and Big Daddy was in Atlanta? Was he too
I
busy
said the
with
same thing in my
Mammy?
notes.
Like none of that made sense to me,
It
but
didn't.
nothing ever does. Oh God, it's fine. I'm good. I'm fine. It's
Okay,
okay.
because you killing me with these, with that.
It's just because I just got up. That morning dew. It's the precipitation. Um, Blanche was very theatrical in her retelling of that story. She was
Mm,
up and down and spinning. I mean, she doesn't talk like that with the girls. It's odd she would tell a story like that to her mother with all that um, movement, we'll say, which involved her being groomed by the gym teacher. But I guess we're just gonna bypass that and act like it's okay for a 40-year-old to take her across state lines to marry her, and she's 17. I don't know if anyone else picked up on that.
I did, and it's crazy because I think throughout the series they have a lot of like predatory stories that they just kind of like glance over. Like one that stands out to most to me is like Dorothy and Stan when she says he must have slipped me something.
Right.
Like it was
Mm-hmm.
like a date rape kind of thing, and we're just like laughing
Mm-hmm.
about it. Like
Yeah,
that's a little weird.
just a bit.
They
But
say some controversial
they
stuff
do.
here and there.
Even in this episode, jumping ahead a bit, but Sal was saying how he begged her for sex 1,000 times, and she said yes
Mm-hmm.
3 times.
Mm-hmm.
At least he asked, I guess. Even though Sophia has also said that he would have sex with her while she was asleep. So again, rape.
Mm-hmm.
Trigger warning. I guess it's too late, but trigger warning. Sexual assault. But I feel like for this one, sorry, COVID brain fog, because I had a point when I started talking. Oh, we got to see or find out Blanche's real age for the first
Mm-hmm.
time, which you think would be a
Mm-hmm.
bigger deal.
Yep.
And I'm sure if she was telling the story to the girl, she would have left that part out. But I wrote it down. She was 17 in 1949, which means she was born
Mm-hmm.
in 1932. So
Mm-hmm.
when the show started, Blanche would have been 53. For those of you out there
Mm.
that, were curious. Which I feel like she looked decent for 53. In real life, I think Rue was 49 when the show started.
Mm-hmm.
And she was the only one I think that was aged up. Of course, Sophia, because Dorothy and Rose were way younger than Bee and Betty, but they still look good. Betty was 63 when the show started, and she was supposed to be 55. And I think the same for Bee, if I'm not mistaken. So
Mm-hmm.
that means Betty was 70 when she was doing Golden Palace, which is crazy to think about um,
Wow.
because, you would usually think of that being more towards the end of somebody's career. And she did so
Mm-hmm.
much more after being 70, which is just crazy. But she was iconic like that. So work, Betty.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also wanted to point out. Oh, that was it. Would anybody have anything else for Blanche's story before I move on to Rose's?
No, that's all I had.
It was it was okay. It didn't really give me a lot. A lot of these were very short. I felt like I don't remember them being this short. As soon as they got to the story, they were back at the kitchen table, and I'm curious how that is set up for filming because I would assume,
Mm.
especially at this time, that they just did all of those scenes separately and then they just cut to it on a monitor for the audience and they mainly stayed at the table. I don't know if they did a lot of back and forth. I would assume not. Or maybe they did. Maybe that's why they didn't change their hair and stuff so it would be easier. And they just went and did that and came back. Otherwise, if there's a studio audience, it wouldn't make sense. They wouldn't know what was going on unless it was pre recorded or they just popped in and out. But I don't know how that would have worked for the scene with Sophia and Dorothy because of the makeup. If anybody behind the scenes would like to let us know how that actually works, feel free to let us know. Um, so moving on to Rose, her all of her kids had to chip in for a bus ticket. Damn. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she flew in and took the bus from there, but I just feel like, Kirsten clearly, maybe she didn't have the money since she's always worried about Rose's pockets. Mother, I'm so ashamed of you. So maybe she ain't got it like that, but she looked like she did when we saw her. And then there's hell 3 other kids, and they had to all share the expenses. Let me see what a bus ticket would be. Feel free to continue. I'm gonna look this up. What the price is.
This
I mean,
seems
I'm sure
very.
the price now wouldn't be how much it was
Oh, I'm
then.
gonna
So,
include inflation and things like that.
I mean, from Minnesota to Florida, that's a long ways.
So much that 4 people have to chip in on it.
I mean, that's a long. I don't know why they just didn't fly, but I digress.
Okay, so shockingly, there's no record of what that price would have been at the time. But right now,
Hmm.
um, it's about $181. So if it was today, 4 people, hell, I even see some cheaper than that. But 4 people is starting at twenty-two
Okay, but
dollars.
do the
One
deluxe
twenty-two.
package. See how much deluxe is.
So 122 is the base, and then the average is
Right.
181. So it took 4 of them to pay 181. I mean, I don't want to be pocket watching, but that's 45
You it
25.
sound like you pocket watching, but I'm assuming it was more than that or whatever, and I'm assuming the plane tickets were astronomical because why would you want to take a bus ride from Minnesota
Because
to
she's
Miami?
Rose and she don't care about that stuff. She wanted
Oh,
to hear
okay.
the people playing the music on the
Oh,
banjos.
okay.
So I could definitely see Rose doing that. But hey, she was satisfied with her. How long is that ride? It's probably like over 24 hours.
Hmm.
She had nothing else better to do, apparently. And then we see Martha again in another depressing ass role. Either she is over there saying, I want you to be there when I kill myself, or talking about her dead daughter. Like, damn. Why does this lady only get to be depressing? And is that a hat or is that her hair? Discuss.
I don't know. I feel like that wasn't it her hair?
Mm,
That couldn't have been a hat. That would have been a terrible hat.
I feel like it was a
great
hat and some
question.
hair. I don't know. I need to get
I
this
don't
the
know.
costume people. I remember once in church, I told somebody, "Oh, I love your hat," and she said, "I'm not wearing a hat." But I mean, I didn't know it kind of looked like that. Shout out to Crystal White if you're listening. Here you're a nurse now or something, or hairdresser, one of the two. Um, her sister used to work with us, but anyway, I digress. Um, I also like her explanation of St. Olaf. She says everybody's not an idiot, but there's more idiots per capita. I think that is the best explanation because I've always been curious why we meet a lot of people from St. Olaf that are not stupid, such as Rose's kids or
Mhm.
Rose's siblings or Rose's mother. So with
Hmm.
Martha's explanation, which I don't know if that was her name here, I like to think it's the same person, and maybe that's why she wanted to kill herself because her daughter was deceased. Not to make it depressing any more than it already is, but I think that what was I talking about? Damn, this brain fog. Anybody? Any help
The
here?
hat,
The
the
hat.
hat,
Yes. No,
the hat.
was
Yeah,
I still talking about the hat? I wasn't still talking about the hat.
that's what sparked this
Okay,
entire.
but I had a point before I
Okay.
got to her daughter being dead. Yeah, the idiots per capita line. I think that's what it was. Just that
Hmm.
everybody's not stupid. They just have more stupid people than the average place. I think that was the point. Thank
Well,
you.
per capita, you're probably right.
Exactly. And apparently they have KKK rallies in St. Olaf.
Oh my goodness.
That was a little much. But I guess at least they had a black person and they were welcoming, so I'll give them that much. And then she mentions Little Lars and Big Lars, which makes me think of Big Sven and Big Sven 2, and Chuck from Shell and Big Chuck from Shell. There's a lot of littles and bigs, Big Daddy, Big Mommy. And Rose really loves pretending that random people are her mother. She did it on Golden Palace. I guess that's just what she's into. Yet she let her own mother get sent to a home and die. We never hear anything else about it, but all right. Um, but anybody else have anything else on Rose?
I thought about this the episode when she was nominated for St. Olaf's Woman of the Year, and the ridiculous travel plans that they had to do. They had to go to a jetliner in Minneapolis, and then what was it? And they had to take a train through Zumbo Falls. And I was wondering, I was like, wow, did she have to do this when she went, to visit her mom or her family, I should say, back in St. Olaf? And then I thought about, of course, the train station, which they've used before. I think it was one of their friends who had passed, and that's when all the group of clowns had came in. So I just like seeing, familiar kind of scenes and places like that.
Yeah, I was trying to remember if that was the same guy. And the guy that is in this episode at the train
Ooh.
station is the teacher and later principal from That's So Raven, that used to spit all the time. What was his name? I
Wow.
don't remember his. You know who I'm talking about. And he'd be like, my
Mm-mm.
pupils, and he would spit all over them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He looks kind of different, but then also kind of the same. We should get him on the show. I'm pretty sure he's still alive. But it takes between a day and 15 hours and a day and 23 hours to get to Minneapolis from Miami by bus. Damn. That's a long ass fucking ride.
Okay.
So hopefully this is just part of that elaborate travel plan because I was thinking of that too, where they were on a train and a little plane, a big plane. I'm like, is it that
Mm-hmm.
hard to get to St. Olaf? I mean, maybe in 1985 or something, but at that point, I would have just said, "Fuck it." Now, did she move there? Did she have all her furniture on these various modes of transportation, or
Yeah.
did
Right.
she just leave it in the burning house? Um,
Well, at least she didn't have to go to Beaver Falls.
True, but it was a cute little story. I don't know if it would be that cold on Mother's Day, where they have on winter hats and coats and things,
Mm.
and she's abating. Um, a fugitive. She is assisting her in her escape. We don't know what happens after that. Does she get back home safely or what? I guess Rose didn't care.
Mm.
But I will say I love the aiding and abetting. That's the word I was trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
I do love the scene in the I guess it was the 50s with our best friend Lenny Green, aka Young Dorothy, who I just adored meeting as well as her wife, and we're still waiting for them to come on the show whenever you want. Um,
Anytime.
anytime. Right now is what are you doing now? Just hit us up. But I'm trying to think how many times we had already seen young Dorothy and how many more times we see her after this because I think she only did 4 episodes, which is shocking. And this might be the first time. Maybe. I need if anybody knows for certain, let us know. And we'll just disregard that, the set doesn't match when they go back and visit because they came right from outside. And I'm like, well, this is at an apartment building in Brooklyn. Shouldn't you have to go through the hallway? But hey, who knows? Maybe they have a special entrance. But I love that Dorothy had no accent whatsoever, as
Mm-hmm.
Sophia's
Mm-hmm.
mother speaks perfect English, and
Mm-hmm.
Right.
as does Sophia still at that point, because she wouldn't have been there that long. Well, maybe if Dorothy was an adult, but still, I would think she'd have an accent, as should Sal. Because didn't Sal come from Sicily too?
Yeah, he because
Mm.
they Sophia talked about how they were in the village together.
Yeah,
Didn't
so
she
Yeah.
before?
they all have New York accents, as does Angela. Angelo is the only one that maintained his accent,
Right.
I guess. And Philomena, who I love that you mentioned her as one of Sophia's possible kids. Um, what was immigration like back then? Because how are they all just getting over here so easy? Is it literally just show up at Ellis Island and that's it? Because her mother is just gonna live here now and that's it. No
Yeah.
citizenship or anything like that. And she should be dead because I do believe Dorothy said her grandparents died because her grandmother was 91 when she was 6 or something, which also seems really old. Um, but I don't know. I guess, again, who gives a shit? Mark Sulkin, maybe he wrote those episodes. Come on the show, Mark, and talk about it.
Right.
Um, but she slapped the shit out of her. Like that, like it fucking hurt. Damn. I feel like B really wanted to do that. I feel,
Yeah.
and according to Jim Colucci's book Golden Girls Forever, B really did not like having to be in that old age makeup, and it was like very difficult to film, and she just really was unhappy. But Estelle had to do it every episode. You couldn't do one little scene.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, that should give her, should have given her some appreciation for what Estelle had to go through. But I believe this is the episode where Lenny said that after filming, B had asked her to go out for a drink, and she was too nervous to do it, and she's always regretted it. So that's very interesting. I'm pretty sure this is the one she referred to when we were at Goldencon, the first Golden Girls convention, and interviewed her. So that's interesting. I guess I can see that if B was acting like that she might not have been warmed up to the idea of going out for a drink. Plus, she wasn't even at first. She was like, "Me? Is she talking to me?" Because she's this amazing Emmy-winning actress, and you're doing this guest spot playing her. So I can see the intimidation there for sure. I think that was all that I had.
Yeah, my notes were pretty similar to what
Love
the
the
both of
dramatic
you all
pauses.
had. Right? Did you have anything else?
I did not have anything else. The Italian accent was the thing that stuck out to me the most, as you mentioned. But I didn't have anything.
Yeah, they don't even try. I mean, I guess they feel like if we can't do it justice, don't do it. Because the Nan Martin, who played Frida Claxton and then also played one of Philomena's parents, pretty much had her accent down. So I guess they're like, well, if you can do it, do it. If you can't, don't bother. But thank you, Michael, for joining us. And for those of you that don't know, I'm pretty sure Michael's Black. Do you want to give us a little bit about how you came to love the Golden Girls and what it's like loving the Golden Girls as a Black person?
Sure. So I remember, I don't think there was a time that I didn't have the Golden Girls on television. My mom watched it, and her sisters watched it, so it was always on in the house. And when I was younger, of course, I didn't understand the humor. But as I got older, I was like, oh, this show is actually hella funny. And so it has just stuck with me, and I have been loving it ever since. I think it's definitely a comforting show. When you're experiencing some difficulties, you could just put it on. It's always there. Happy moments, sad moments. It's a show that you can always put on. So that's my affinity for the Golden Girls, and I think that as I got older, I definitely saw and noticed more Black people, more Black men who were interested in Golden Girls. When I was younger, of course, there was no one who knew what I was talking about. But I think it might have been a little bit of a, I would say maybe a taboo thing. Like Golden Girls, like, what is that? Especially to people who are not LGBTQ. But yeah, that's my story with the Golden Girls.
Well, thank you for joining us and for following. You're one of the people that have followed us from the beginning. So if we ever blow up, we'll say, who are you? But I do appreciate you joining. Do you have anything you want to plug?
I want to plug the people who do not listen to the podcast. Please listen to the podcast. It is great. And if you are a super fan of the Golden Girls, make it your business to get on here and just share your love for them.
Well, thank you. And I'm going to upload that part on its own as an official endorsement. Kay just sent me an invitation for her birthday party, and it looks like an obituary. I thought that something happened. Is this like Sophia's party where she had a wake while she was still alive to enjoy it?
No, what are you saying?
It looks like an obituary.
Go to hell.
I'm gonna post this.
This does not look like it. You know it doesn't.
Anyway, I'm gonna post it minus the information so you all can judge, because it looks like an obituary. I was like, wow,
Whatever.
A celebration of life gone so
You
soon.
look like an obituary.
That COVID just really got her.
It says birthday celebration.
It's when I first glanced at it, it's giving me very much memorial service.
Good night.
But
Good night. Good night.
I'm just looking at it while we're talking. It just really distracted me. But
okay. Well, do you like this other one? Well, this other one looks ghetto, so I'm not gonna send you that one. Continue on. I apologize. Go on.
I mean, if that's what you're going for, I'll show up in all black with a long.
I'm
veil.
not doing this with you today.
Now that's our new thing to say.
Thank you for being a friend together.
Yeah. So on the count of 3, thank you
for
being a friend. We got to work on that. For more information on our podcast, head over to www.sogoodwenamedit.com and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at SoGoodWeNamedIt. And check out our Facebook page, So Good We Named It, Golden Girls Golden Palace Podcast, and our Facebook group with the same name. And to find out about the next Goldencon, go to thankyouforbeingafan.com and join the mailing list. And as always, thank you for listening and thank you for being a friend. So Kay's over here talking shit about me once we stop recording. All I did was mention, how much I love our listeners and fans and supporters.
Oh yeah, that's what you said.
And then,
he said to the ones who recorded episodes weeks ago, you'll get it posted when you get it posted. And I said, wow, this is who y'all live for. That's what I said.
Look, it's the order of operations, okay?
It's fine.
Please
fine.
Excuse my
dear Aunt
and Dorothy,
okay. All right.
And Sophia. We say it her twice. Please excuse my. Look, don't question it. They will be out there when they're out there. But this is Mother's Day.
Thank you all so much for listening.
You know what? I don't have to put up with this.
I'll be damned. The black guy's prejudice.
Hello and welcome to So Good We Named It, the first Golden Girls and Golden Palace podcast. And the first, I'm saying very slowly for those of you listening because I just messed it up, the first Golden Girls or Golden Palace podcast with black hosts, to my knowledge, fresh from Goldencon.
And of course, I'm Kay.
And we have a dog here, which apparently is a saying. I remember Dorothy, I think, said that. We have a dog here. And Rose says, where? I didn't know that was a saying. I had to look that up. It might be available in Matt Browning's book, The Definitive Cultural Reference Guide. But we have Anthony and David here. For those of you that do not know, they got engaged at Goldencon. Welcome, Anthony and David.
It was beautiful. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having us.
So I must say, I heard a lot throughout the weekend. Oh my God, did you see the couple got engaged? Oh my God, did you see the couple got engaged? I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? Because we were doing other things, I guess, at the time. So I never saw it until the finale. Yeah, that's when I saw it for the first time. When I got a little verklempt, I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. But I'm glad they caught that on camera because I was starting to think people were lying. But for those, that sounds great, but I'm like, how have I not seen anything about this? Debatable. But who proposed to whom? Make sure I got it.
So me, David, I proposed to Anthony.
Okay, and can you tell me how you decided that this was the perfect place, Goldencon 2022, to propose?
Well, I decided back in January that I was going to propose. We had been dating since the previous May, and we were planning 2 trips, one to Las Vegas in March and one to Goldencon in April. And when I was thinking about where I wanted to do it, I decided that Las Vegas was a little bit too cliche with everybody always getting married there. And since the day I met Anthony, the one true love he's had in his life more than anything has been the Golden Girls. And it just seemed like it was the perfect idea to, marry the two things together.
Wow, that's beautiful. I got engaged. Well, I'm married now, but it was a very rapid succession of events. But I did the proposing, but were I to get proposed to, I would have loved to have gotten proposed to at Goldencon.
Don't you do that.
I'm just saying that would have been nice. But
so, how did you get to the planning to get, the permissions and everything that you needed to go ahead and propose live in front of everyone?
Well, I had reached out to them through the website back in, I think, early February when I decided this. And just asked them, if there was any way I could maybe get the proposal put up on some, a TV somewhere, some digital signage, or if they had any other suggestions. And honestly, I never heard back from them until about 5 weeks before the conference. I just figured my message went into a black hole. And just getting ready to go back on the website to see if I could find any other way to contact them to see if maybe they just missed it. And then I suddenly got an email from them saying that they had seen my request and they got so excited that they completely forgot to respond to me. And they were going through their checklist, cleaning up all their unanswered questions in their mailbox, and they came across it. So initially they came back to me and asked me if we would like to have Rue McClanahan's niece marry us in front of everyone.
Oh.
And my response back was, well, no, I really wanted keep that to later and make it a private event with friends and family. I said I really just wanted to do the proposal. So they asked me who Anthony was, what his name was at the time, and a little bit about him. And then the next day they came back and told me that they had spent the evening snooping all over his Facebook profile and found his TikToks, and that they had this idea that during the Lost Episodes event that they would show one or some of his TikToks, and then at some point ask him who he was with, and then when he would say my name, they would invite me up, and then I could do my thing. And I agreed to that. Of course, they told me there'd be about 1,000 people watching, and I'm terrified just to speak in front of 10 people, so that was a big thing for me. And then I just had to start figuring out, okay, well, how do I get the ring there without him seeing, and how do I, plan what I'm going to say, and then I didn't know these people, so we made arrangements that throughout the weekend they would be randomly coming up to us and talking to us and steering us towards that specific event, since it was repeated multiple times, to make sure that Anthony was at the right one at the right time, because it was the only one they would be showing this video. So it was kind of funny because the whole weekend we kept running into people and talking to them, and what Anthony didn't know was that I had already talked to these people multiple times.
Right.
That's cute.
That is. Where are you all from? Sorry, Barrett. Didn't mean to steamroll you there.
It's your turn to do it.
Where are you all from?
We are in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. That was nice.
Yes, it was very nice. And of course I was completely floored when, this happened. I'm like, what is going on? So it was actually kind of funny because that Thursday evening you could do the welcome, the pre-party to kick everything off at the bar. Zach came up to me and said, we are going to show one of your videos at Goldencon on Saturday, and we would love for you to be there. So I think he was excited too. And it just, everything went off without a hitch. I mean, I had no idea. So, but it was so much fun. So, and a wonderful, beautiful memory I will always cherish and carry with me.
That's cute. You should have reached out to me since you said you couldn't get a hold of anybody. I would have gotten it right to the top.
I did not know who to contact, and the website only had that email submission form. And when I couldn't find anything else, I was like, well, I guess it's just not going to happen. And then, I'm not kidding, the very next morning there was this email out of nowhere. It was like it was just supposed to happen.
I don't even think I looked at the website. I just was harassing people on Twitter, so good to know. But if anyone listening wants to get married next year, reach out to me. I'm a little ordained, so I could do it for you.
What is a little ordained?
I mean, I filled out everything and they send me emails, but I have not paid for a certificate. But I would for this.
You're a fraud. You've been telling us all this time.
Reverend Barrett. But anybody, if you want to do a bar mitzvah, a funeral next year, whatever, let me know and I'll do what I can. So I would.
But needless to say, I am very happy. We are the first engaged couple at Goldencon.
Iconic.
Yes.
It's like the bar is set up for whoever does it next year.
Exactly. Right. I mean, it better be pretty great. And anybody that's already married, if you want to get divorced next year, serve some papers, whatever you want, we can make it happen. I want to know how you were able to keep it a secret, because when I proposed, I think I proposed just like a couple of days after I figured out I wanted to do it, because I didn't want to have to hold that secret, and you held it for months.
Yeah, I only told about 10 people that I was going to propose, and I think only maybe 4 or 5 knew how I was going to do it. I found out pretty quick that one of his close friends can't always keep a secret, so I threatened her with her life.
Oh, well, that's what you got to do.
Basically told her if she said anything, I'd hunt her down the rest of her life, and so she kept it a secret. But I was nervous, and I was kind of convinced right up to that day that he already knew. But needless to say, he absolutely had no clue. But I was acting very strange that day, and I was really stressed out about it. He knew something was wrong with me, and he kept trying to get it out of me, and I just kept telling him I was fine.
Well, I'm glad it's not just me, because that was my case, and he's like, "Why are you acting so weird?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? You're acting weird." But he also did not think anything was up when I thought that he did. And Kate was there when I proposed, so she was able to see his face and everything, and he was clearly very surprised. But when I was watching the video, maybe I'm just easily confused. Perhaps the doctor's right. I do need both pills a day. But I thought that it was the other way around. I thought that you were doing the proposing and that he was coming up there to get proposed to. And then I saw the ring. I'm like, well, wait a minute. What's going on here? And then you didn't seem to notice the ring. Like, how does he not see this giant box? And I was just on the edge of my seat. But you didn't see it, did you?
I didn't see anything. Like I said, you could have knocked me over with a feather up there. I really just thought they were, showing my Golden Girls TikTok, and that was it. And I was really, it did not click with me. I think it's a whole different set of circumstances versus being on stage and in the audience. When you're on stage, you're more nervous. You're in front of all these people, and you're really not thinking like you would be in the audience. And I was just up there talking, trying to answer the questions and trying to be as eloquent and as professional as I could be. But he came over, and I'm like thinking to myself, what is he doing here? I'm like, this is my time, not yours.
It was very seamless.
I forgot half of what I wanted to say because I was too nervous.
Well, don't feel bad. We were interviewing the cast and forgot what we wanted to say. So, I definitely can relate to the, just being up there. When you're there, you're like, oh my God, what am I saying? What am I doing? So I don't think I could do what you did. At least I only had a couple people and a security guard that was trying to interrupt when I proposed. I can't imagine doing it on a stage. I like, attention, believe it or not, but my husband is very shy.
Oh, yeah.
So he would not have liked that at all. But
from the point of the people running it, Zach and his group, I think only 3 or 4 people within their group knew. Like, I don't think anyone else really knew what was happening because we came in early, and I pretended to get Anthony into the room early because we needed to get good seats, and people kept running up to me telling me, you can't be here. And I'm like, no, I'm actually supposed to be here. It's a secret. And they're like, oh, okay. And they had they were clueless. So
well, they did that to us as well. You can't be in here. So I guess just common themes all around. We just kept walking, flashed our badge. I wish they had you do it during ours so we could have watched. But I assume you were given like a copy of this to have, forever. Because mine is also on video. So I feel like that's something most people don't have. So to have it where you can watch it.
Actually, all we have is what we filmed from my phone. So the quality is not great. I was trying to cobble together different videos that different people recorded and sent to us, but I wasn't able to get anything professional from them. I'd hoped I could. So the audio is not great. I cobbled together what I had late at night, and then Anthony posted it on his TikTok page. So you can't really hear too well what I'm saying, but you get the idea.
I don't know which one I saw. I'll try to see if I can find it, because the one I saw I felt was pretty decent. I thought it was the official thing. Maybe not, because you're in the official like finale thing.
Yeah, we saw that, and I was so excited.
And then you're in another one. You're in it more than us. Really so
yeah, if you have a more professional one with better audio, we would love to have it.
I will see if I can track it down, and hopefully it wasn't just one that you posted. But I know I've seen it a couple of times. But do you both love the Golden Girls equally? Or?
Oh yeah, I mean, my big joke to him up there, I don't know if you can hear it, but I was watching the Golden Girls as it was released, and he was only like 2 years old. So we're 17 years apart. So I just thought it was really interesting when we first met that he had this love for this show that, to me, I felt like it was a show for my generation and older, and I didn't expect a younger generation to like it. And I hadn't seen it in years. I watched it 7, 8, 9 times, in syndication, and then eventually moved on to other things. So I'm, rewatching some of these episodes now here and there, and then watching his TikToks. I remember the episodes, but it's it was a big surprise to me.
I don't think I've seen your TikToks, having been recently banned. I haven't seen a lot of TikToks, but can you tell the people
because they ban you.
where? I mean, I have haters. It's fine. Can you tell the people where they can find your TikToks, and I'll make a burner dummy account so I can watch them.
Oh my God.
Yes, my TikToks are fully 100% Golden Girls, with a couple of different ones in there, but mostly Golden Girls. And my handle on TikTok is the dot, and that's a period, golden period, girls period guy. So the Golden Girls guy.
A lot of periods. Okay, I think I can remember that. And of course, for those of you listening, there will be a link below. Go ahead and follow. Tell him I sent you. You don't get anything for it, but at least he'll know. Is there going to be like a recurring theme now for like Golden Girl stuff? If you decide to adopt a child, are you going to name it Little Mei Ling and have a whole thing? Or is this it? Do you not want to get into it?
Funny you should say that. No children for us, but I keep teasing David that I really, really want a dog, and we already have one, but I want another one, and I want a specific kind. I want a Dalmatian. I want to name that Dalmatian Dorothy'S, and I want to call her Dot.
I love it. You have to do it. Don't announce this and then it doesn't happen. We need pictures of this.
I know. Tell me about it. Yeah, so we're waiting for little Dottie to arrive.
That's very cute. We already have 3 cats and a dog, which is too many, but I do eventually want to get a kitten and name it Betty White.
There you go.
So we're on the same page here.
Yes.
That's very cute. Is the wedding theme going to be at all Golden Girls?
We may have so we're starting to plan, and we're starting to do things. I'm thinking maybe the photo booth will combine both of our interests. So I'm thinking maybe we'll use Golden Girl props, and then David can have his like Star Trek stuff and aquarium stuff, and so yeah. So we're definitely going to incorporate the girls at somewhere in that wedding.
That's very cute. I, personally don't do things in moderation. So were I to have had a Golden Girls proposal, there would have been a full Golden Girls wedding, etc. Another reason not to do that, because I don't know when to stop. So it's better to have nothing at all. But we will be looking forward to those photos and videos, etc. And may the Force be with Rue, since you're a Star Wars fan, and today is the 4th. Right. Shout out to you all out there. I don't know who I'm waving at. No one can see me, hopefully. But can you tell us a little about what it is about the Golden Girls that's so special versus other things that you may enjoy, but perhaps not to this degree?
Well, ever since I was a little boy, I always knew that, I was just searching on TV, and I came across this show. Had no idea what it was. I actually asked my mom, I'm like, what is this show? And she told me, and I actually used to miss school on purpose, because back in those days, there was no DVR, and you could not, and there wasn't DVDs or anything like that. So you couldn't watch anything. So I would purposely miss school so I could watch the Golden Girls at home. And then when the DVDs came out, I remember it was like Christmas, because I was so excited because they would, keep coming out, year after year. And I'm like, oh, I can't wait to own all of them. So I've probably seen them a gajillion times, but it never gets old. And the show was just so perfectly well written. Those 4 women just had so much magic between them. You can't replicate this show. You can't remake it. It is just perfect the way it is. I wish all 4 of them were still here so they could share their memories. But to me, that show and those 4 women just make me make me happy and make me feel like, I can do anything, and they'll always have a special place in my forever golden heart. So that's why I love the show so much.
Well, I do have to say you did not have to miss school. It came on 6 times a day. Um, so don't blame the Golden Girls.
I stayed home.
But I definitely, I feel like I watched, if I was at home, I felt like I watched it at least 4 out of the 6. I think it was
Right.
probably rare that I would get all 6 because it was on like at 9 and 9:30. But it's like, yep, okay, the first 2 are gone. Where's the next batch? And kids today will never know. But that's dedication. Like if you are waiting for a show to come on, something that does not exist now, then you must really, really love it.
Oh, I know.
And you said you were watching it when it first came on. So, what drew you to it with it being a brand new show?
Oh, I think for the same kind of reasons. I mean, at that time it was 86,
85.
85 when it first came out. And, being a 16-year-old gay boy in the middle of the country who had no gay characters on TV, no references to gay people that was in any way positive. That show was one of the first shows I saw that ever, talked about gay people in any way, and in a positive way. I liked the fact that these women dealt with challenging topics on every show. In some ways, they reminded me of my own grandparents, my own grandmother, and I don't know. It was just something about them. They always put a smile on my face. They always made me laugh. I really, really identified with Rose. I just thought she was great. How goofy she was. And even though at that time I had never had sex with anyone, let alone kissed anyone, I just loved, Rue McClanahan's character and how slutty she was. But yeah, I don't know. Sophia, really, I identified with her from the point of view that she was a lot like my great grandmother. So, I felt like each character sort of fit in with a female family member of mine. Different people matched up with different personalities. So I kind of felt like I was looking at my own family in a different, through a different lens.
Wow, that sounds like a fun family reunion if your family members remind you of
Right.
the Golden Girls.
Right.
Well, now you'll be part of it.
Yes. I can't believe that, that we were a part of Goldencon in some way. It's so cool.
It really is. And, as people that host it, it's just, I still haven't wrapped my head around it. The fact that we were there and a part of it, not just in the crowd. I mean, if you look at all the news articles, you wouldn't know we were there. New York Times. But we were. I'm just saying, all these articles, we're not in.
Well, we saw you both on stage, so we know.
Well, as long as the two of you know, that's all
right.
that matters.
That's right.
And we will go down in history.
Everybody. I mean, it was amazing to me, too, to see some of the actors who were on there that I kept looking at some of these people thinking, I know these people, not just in the Golden Girls, and then realizing that, like, I have, my love is for Star Trek, like his is for the Golden Girls, and I kept seeing certain actors, and I'm like, I know these people. And then I looked them up and realized that they've been in dozens and dozens of Star Trek episodes, and usually heavily made up with makeup. So I recognized their voice, but not really their face. And then when I looked them up, I was like, oh, now I know why. I've seen these people hundreds of times because the way he watches the Golden Girls, over and over and over, that's how I am with Star Trek. So that's a show.
Oh, Star Trek. I thought it was Star Wars. That's why I said May the 4th be with
Star Trek.
Oh, well, live long and prosper. But I don't know if I knew that because I know they have like a page of Golden Girls actors on Murder, She Wrote, and then Golden Girls actors on Law and Order. So maybe you two can start the Golden Girls on Star Trek because I didn't realize that was a thing. And for anyone that listened all the way through, I know you were waiting to tweet me to tell me that I got them mixed up, but I figured it out before the show was over. So, ha. But I just want to thank you both for joining. I was glad I was able to track you down. Thanks to Facebook, everyone in my People You May Know, their profile pictures them on the couch. So I'm able to know, oh, they were Goldencon. I've been finding people to try to interview them. And if you're listening, I'm still looking for you, Mr. Terrific. I'm still looking for not Rose with the hairy legs, but Rose with the sock puppet, and several other people that were, very noteworthy that weekend. So please reach out. We would love to have you all here for our, I don't know what this is. I feel like it's a time capsule almost of Goldencon.
Right.
Maybe they'll
Right.
play all of these next year. Who knows? I don't know. But I can't wait to see the ring in person next year. And if you want to invite us, no pressure. I don't know if I've been to Pittsburgh before, but now's a great time to go. But I don't want to hold you too long. Kay, did you have anything else before we head out?
No, I just wanted to thank the both of you for coming on. It was a beautiful, beautiful engagement, and you pulled it off.
And
So,
congratulations.
shout out to you. Yeah, congrats.
Thank you so much.
And
Yes,
hurry up
thank
and
you.
do it before the Supreme Court ruins everything.
Oh, we know. But until then, thank you both for so much for just taking the time to talk to both of us and finding me. I mean, I really appreciate it, and being a part of your podcast is another highlight. So thank you so much.
Well, the pleasure is all of
Aw,
ours,
thank you.
and you're a part of our
Right.
podcast. We're a part of your marriage. So
Yes,
if you want to split some of the gifts, whatever, no pressure.
Well, hello, so good we named it, and fellow Golden Girl fans. My name is Julie, and I and my 13-year-old daughter, Mossy, were part of the inaugural Goldencon in Chicago a few weeks ago. And like has been stated on the podcast, we are definitely feeling the Goldencon withdrawals. We really miss the warm, welcoming spirit that everybody displayed. While we were there, everybody was constantly smiling, laughing. We could all complete quotes in unison. We all were laughing at the references. It was a great time. And I found out about GoldenCon via social media, and I was actually one of the first folks to express interest in buying tickets when it was originally slated to happen at a community center. And then I got the email that said that they were relocating. So I was super excited to buy our Save the McKinley Lighthouse passes, which meant we were there for the full 3 days, including the Friday sneak preview. In retrospect, I wish I had opted for the Butter Queen option so that we could get on the lanai and get a couple of the other perks like that sash. But either way, we really enjoyed our passes and being there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. My 13-year-old really embraced this experience. She actually took the lead on selecting what our itinerary was going to be every single day. And, she was really excited about being at the con. We've never been to Chicago, and her dad came with us. So we had to play tourist with him. But she was really about like, hey, we're here for GoldenCon. These are the 3 days that we're doing GoldenCon, Dad. So go do your thing. We're going to do our thing. So that was really great because, as you know, with teenagers, you never know. And she loves the Golden Girls. She just wants to see them every night. And she knows all the references. And she's going to sing a hard-hearted Hannah if there's a karaoke lounge next year. So it was a wonderful time. From the cosplaying to the panels to the detailed props for photo opportunities to all the wonderful vendors, Helena handbag, the Golden Gaze. It was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. I can't tell you how much fun we had and how much we appreciated it. Thinking about some of the highlights for me, I'm going to admit to you that I got teary-eyed when Cindy and Aaron were doing their duet. It was so, I got emotional. The Golden Girls has really been a bright spot in our lives. We got really committed to the Golden Girls during the pandemic, and it's become kind of our mother and daughter thing. So with that said, I do have a few regrets of my own. I already mentioned the Butter Queen thing. I wish that we had cosplayed. We did wear the matching pajama coveralls on Friday, and we got featured in somebody's TikTok. So thank you for featuring us. But we really could have made a bigger effort. So next year, we're already thinking about costumes for next year. I didn't get to go to the disco, but I love to dance. So it just seemed it would have been lame because I can't take my 13-year-old to a disco. And my hubby was like, no, I don't think so. But next time I'm just going to be daring. And finally, that's the final thing is I really want to be a little more outgoing. I know that Bear and Kay have shared that they are extroverted introverts, and I'm the same way. So I wish I could have been a little more bold and asked people to take pictures and introduce myself to folks because there was nothing but love.
My name is Heather. I'm from New York and I'm 35 years old. That's 23 in Blanche years. And I'd like to share a few words of what the South means to me. Oh, whoops. Wrong podcast. Oh, then this must be... Oh, Goldencon, right. Of course. Okay, we have Goldencon here. Right. Okay. To me, being at this event was a celebration of my childhood, revisiting the cherished memories years later of me watching the Golden Girls with my grandmother. The show and its spin-offs have become an everyday thing for me, as some people listen to music while they're working from home. I have the shows playing pretty much all day in the background. And then, of course, relaxing and watching some after a day of work. I also put the shows on whenever I'm cooking on a Sunday. Makes for a good atmosphere. And I never imagined in a million years, like so many others, that there would be a convention for this very show, and for its fans and various stars. Being able to meet and interact with the very people who wrote, produced, and acted on some of these episodes was absolutely surreal. I've been to many conventions and, met the actors and everything, but this one was beyond special. This was so connected to my childhood, and I really wish my grandma was here to see this. I also wish my best friend Shilpa was there to see it as well. She unfortunately passed away just a month shy of this convention, but I know she would have loved it. Her and I were fans of the girls and often texted each other quotes. She loved telling me that she could vomit just looking at me. Now, if that's not friendship, then I don't know what is. We would have binge watch-a-thons, and as Malcolm would say, laugh our asses off. She was actually the first to inform me of this convention, and we were making plans to go. She did gift me my green rose airplane sweater, which I wore on the last day of the convention, and I wound up giving it to someone else that evening to enjoy it just as much. I got my use out of it, so thank you. And but this time around, I was very happy to have my best friend Jess come with me, and to experience this as well. And this was our first time in Chicago. I tell you, I'm still in heaven over this whole experience. And, meeting the people who are just as passionate as I am about this and making new friends. I'm very much looking forward to next year.
Hello, my name is Candace Sagliano, and I am a math teacher in the Chicago suburbs, and I'm here with my friend.
My name is Kathy Weber, and I'm here with my best friend at Lake Park High School, and I teach English, and we went to Goldencon recently. One of the things that we bonded over was our common love of the Golden Girls as a show. It's such a great show that says so much about female friendship. And like a lot of people, we could see ourselves reflected in the characters. I most identify with Dorothy.
So I most identify with Sophia. I will admit I've had two different Golden Girls groups. So I started watching Golden Girls when I was a little kid in the 80s, like with my grandparents, my grandmother. And then when I was in college, there were a lot of reruns on TV, and my college roommates, we had bonded over Golden Girls, and I was Sophia back then. And oddly, then I start working at Lake Park High School, and I found a separate group of Golden Girls. That's where I met Kathy, and I still was Sophia. So I was always the Sophia of the group. I think I've always been the snarky old woman, even though I'm not really the oldest person. So that's just my personality. And why do you think you're Dorothy?
I think I tend to see things with humor and cynicism. I think Dorothy's bark is worse than her bite, and I love her wit, so I most identify with Dorothy.
All right. And we do have two other colleagues here. They're not with us today, but they are the Rose and Blanche of our group. But we decided to go to Goldencon. We had first heard about it online through some kind of Facebook message notification, something or other. And then it was just like a rumor that was spread around. Then all of a sudden it became a reality, and we decided to buy tickets. And I think going into Goldencon, I really didn't know what to expect. Like, was it going to be like a Comic-Con thing with kind of people who were, a little weird, a little too into the Golden Girls? But I think when we showed up there, we realized that people were pretty much just like us. They had better costumes, I will admit. They had better costumes than we did, but they were just we found our tribe, as I know people said throughout Goldencon. What was your favorite session that you visited or saw at Goldencon? What was your favorite event?
Probably the disco was in the costume contest was, I realized like we thought we had good costumes and we really didn't. But the people were very entertaining. I loved watching all the throwback videos while we were dancing and enjoying the ballroom. So I think the disco was the pinnacle of the weekend for me.
Yeah, and I also enjoyed the disco. I remember seeing, I was like, wow, there's only $11. This is the best $11 I ever spent. So I was definitely looking forward to the dancing and dressing up in costume. It's an excuse to get dressed up. But I liked the panels that we had attended as well. And I thought it was, obviously none of the cast was still around and living, but it was nice to hear kind of the behind the scenes takes from the writers, producers, even some of the minor actors, and they had interesting perspectives about the Golden Girls, even though the actual Golden Girls themselves are not still alive and with us. We also enjoyed your panel, the So Good We Named It podcast panel. That was the last session that we attended on Sunday, and we thought that was good. Topics that were somewhat related to Golden Girls, but also hit on topics like race and gender and
yes, I'm just going to chime in here. Yeah. We love the name of your podcast, and we were the people that took some pictures with you on Sunday morning when the topic ended up being table talk. And I thought that was one of the best panels that we attended as far as the panel discussions this weekend. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I guess one final thing. What has the Golden Girls taught you about female friendship? What is that's always my question.
Well, I am married, and although I have a good marriage and I have a family who I'm friends with or have a relationship with, there's something about female friendship with women who are around your same age, people who are your tribe. I think they can see things from a perspective that other people can't. And I think it's really important to share that. One of the things I like about the Golden Girls is, besides all the silly things that are normally on sitcoms, they do have genuine problems that at least are brought up superficially, if not even in more depth. And just the fact that we're talking about this show so many years later, I think really speaks to the writing and also the casting of the show and those actors who all had wonderful chemistry.
Yeah. And that's the best part of the Golden Girls. They have serious topics, but they make it funny. And I think that's what's always, I see, embodied in female friendship, right? We talk about serious issues, but we have a good time while we're doing that.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Here's our submission. So hope to hear from you soon. Thanks.
For more information on our podcast, head over to www.sogoodwenamedit.com and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at So Good We Named It. And check out our Facebook page, So Good We Named It, Golden Girls Golden Palace Podcast, and our Facebook group with the same name. And to find out about the next Goldencon, go to thankyouforbeingafan.com and join the mailing list. And as always, thank you for listening and thank you for being a friend. But as I always say, thank you for being in front of the newlyweds. Really, Kay?
Oh,
you're
I'm
just
sorry.
gonna take my catchboth away? Anyone that has listened knows that it's mine. This is like what, the 20th episode? I don't know. We're not even doing them in order.
It belongs to
but
both of us.
Sure, fine. Like their marriage. Like their marriage. Thank you for being a friend belongs to us. So moving forward, everyone agrees. Okay. We're gonna say it in unison now.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So should we like do a countdown, or you wanna
So just say
Do
so
we
as
do we participate in this too?
Yeah, we should get everybody to
Sure,
say it.
absolutely.
That's what
Let's
we're going to
do it.
start doing. Everyone will say it. Thank you
Thank you for
for
being
being
a
a friend.
friend.
We got to work on that. All right. Well,
Why you
thanks
gotta
for,
say it so
for
slow?
listening.